Hello, everybody out in YouTube land. Welcome to the Gamers at Large, episode 80. We're going to be doing something a little bit different tonight with our topics. Normally, we don't talk about movies, but tonight we will be talking movies and video game movies. Tonight, I got with me Jamie Butterworth. How you doing, man?
Hey, what's up, guys?
What's up? And we got the Good Shepherd.
What's up, idiot? Especially coming through.
All right, now the first thing we're going to talk about, because we got to get the negativity out the way first. Y'all know how I roll. Um, our favorite gaming personality that we love to hate, the lovely Miss Zoe Quinn, is getting a movie made from her memoir, Crash Override: How to Save the Internet from Itself, to be made into a movie with Amy Pascal. Now, she was the former Sony Pictures boss, and she's doing that via her what's the name of her thing? It's I think it's Pascal Pictures. Yeah, Pascal Pictures. Now they are actually it's a Sony-based studio. So let's just get that out of the way. It's still a Sony-based studio, and the article that I'm looking at is from IGN, and it basically says, and this is the quote from Deadline: the movie deal was based on a proposed title, Control-Alt-Delete, and tells the story of how Quinn, creator of such hip interactive games as Depression Quest, oh god, I can't believe they said that, was targeted by a digital mob bent on upending her life when a blog post by her ex-boyfriend went viral. It sparked the widely discussed Gamergate controversy and took a surprising turn when, instead of running, she decided to fight back. It is a very inside look at gaming and nerd culture and what happens when one gets caught in the gears of that machine. Yeah, this is gonna be some bullshit. This is gonna be some bullshit. I can already tell.
I'm just gonna call bullshit, and then I'm gonna let you guys go at it.
Yeah, this movie's gonna be slanted like a mug. I can already tell. Now, the problem that I have is they're trying to get Scarlett Johansson to play Zoe Quinn. And on that note, I'm gonna let Jamie Butterworth just go into it.
Oh my god! All right, so first up, I want to point out that her little anti-harassment network is called Crash Override Network, which is abbreviated as CON, which I think is the perfect abbreviation for this woman, because that's what she is. She's a con artist. She always has been. Now, I want you to keep in mind, before I even really get into it, she's in charge of this anti-harassment network. She was a member of the Something Awful forums years ago, a Something Awful goon who was part of the Hell Dump, which was about outing and doxing people and harassing them and everything else. That's all confirmed even by her, because that's in her words, even though she'll go back on it later and say that she wasn't part of it, even though her earlier statements say that she was part of it. Now, this whole thing, the whole Gamergate thing, started... I'm not going to say started, but it was kicked off, in a way, by the Zoe post, which was, of course, the blog post by her boyfriend, which was like 9 or 10,000 words or whatever else, but it was an entire post chronicling her emotional abuse towards this guy. I sat down and I read everything, and he had screenshots and everything else, chat logs, screenshots, the whole nine, and this woman is a straight-up villain. But everyone runs to her aid, saying that, she was being harassed online and he shouldn't have done that and everything else, when if the genders were flipped, there would have been no issue. Like, she's so brave for writing that blog post about her abusive ex-boyfriend. It would have been a completely different discussion. But she's protected for some reason, for one, because of the people she knows, and for two, because of what her gender is. And people will say that her boyfriend wrote some, manifesto, some screed about, how much he hated her and wanting to out her on the internet and everything else, when they don't even read the damn thing. Because when I read it, I see straight up emotional abuse. And the woman's a compulsive liar. An absolute compulsive liar. Gamergate made me leave the country for 3 months. Forward to 3 weeks before Gamergate ever happened, before the Zoe post ever happened, and she was tweeting out, man, I can't wait to go to Europe for the last 3 months of the year. It's going to be amazing. But no, of course, Gamergate harassed her all the way to Europe. and also all the way to $4,000 a month in Patreon contributions, paid speaker fees, paid speaker engagements, as well as an appearance in front of the UN talking about how horrible harassment is.
Now, also keep in
Well,
mind,
she's really good at harassing people, so of course she would know about that.
Oh yeah, of course she's really good at it.
and the sad thing about this whole situation is, like, two of the guys. I remember you had posted that article, Jamie, on Google Plus, where two of the guys straight up bragged about sleeping with her.
Oh yeah,
They were bragging about it.
and no one cared about her sex life. No one cared about her. She inserted herself in the whole thing.
Yes.
What people cared about were the people that she slept with, who were journalists, who were giving her positive coverage. They weren't giving her positive reviews, as people always say. No, that was never the accusation. The accusation was positive coverage, which she did indeed get. And it was Nathan Grayson was the main culprit of the whole thing, a writer for Kotaku. And they even came out afterwards saying, "Oh no, they didn't begin the relationship until the day after the articles were posted." Oh, come on. And then we found out later on, deep in the credits of her game, that he is credited from 2013 in her game.
I wonder why.
Yeah, exactly. So that whole thing was bullshit. But like I didn't even get into the whole thing with her harassing the fine young capitalists, which were doing a charity trying to actually get more women into programming games and getting producer credits on games and everything else. And she was trying to drive them into the ground because because she called them transphobic, which was ridiculous. And that's like a whole other story. It's just she's like a straight up villain, like cartoon villain. I'm not even joking. She's ridiculous, and people just flock to her side to defend her without even looking for an ounce of the evidence out there. It's ridiculous. The woman's a con artist, the worst of the worst.
And I think that's the problem. What makes me upset about the whole situation. Like, the amount of celebrities that she has backing her, and they didn't read not one thing. They just jumped and took her side.
That's where all of us are getting pissed. It's if the celebrities were stating in detail actual events correctly, I'd be annoyed, but I'd be like, all right, cool, I get it. But they're just yelling random defenses and spewing shit that doesn't even exist, and everybody's like, the fuck did they get that from?
They don't care.
Sorry, pardon my language.
That's fine. I mean, they just listen to the media, and Gamergate is fighting the media. Why would you even bother to trust anything the big media sites say about that when they're the ones in the crosshairs?
And you would think people like, and I hate to have to say this, but you would think like people who have their own issues with the media misquoting them from time to time would understand that. Because, like you said, there was a couple of celebrities that I know went and got her and Sarkeesian's back, and I'm like, bruh, you have been misquoted in the media plenty of times.
Oh yeah.
You should be the first one saying something ain't right.
Yep, exactly.
But nope, that doesn't happen. So she's getting her memoir turned into a movie. Now, the memoir is going to be based from her point of view. So guess what that means? I'm guessing
she's the hero, the martyr.
Yep. Sorry. And I'm guessing whoever's going to be playing the ex-boyfriend is going to be the villain.
Exactly. Of course it is. It's ridiculous.
It's going to be a straight up slant that makes the gaming community look bad, nerd community look bad. It's going to just make us look bad.
I also want to point out that her ex-boyfriend, the one that wrote the post, she was actually early on able to get the court to censor his First Amendment rights, so he couldn't speak about anything about her or anything having to do around that. And he's actually right in the middle of a landmark case about First Amendment rights because of that. And I mean, the more and more you dig into that situation, the more ridiculous it gets. And they're giving her a movie.
Yeah.
And it's like, does anyone bother to actually read anything?
Yeah. And the sad thing, the messed up part about this is it's Sony Pictures. And I was telling a friend of mine on G+, I'm like, dude, I'm sorry, but Sony Pictures might just do it because they need the publicity.
Yeah, wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, they need the publicity, so they might jump all over it anyway, just because it's gonna give them publicity. because they haven't had a bunch of hits lately on the Sony Picture side.
Sony
I
has
don't know, man. Those last couple movies were friggin' awesome. They were so good I never watched them.
I think you liked Amazing Spider-Man too.
Yeah, that was a disappointment. Oh god, yeah. Let's leave that movie alone. Continue.
Yeah. Aside
Now
from
people are starting to see. So yeah, I mean, it's one of those situations. It's unfortunate, but I'm like, dude, you know what? This is probably going. This is more than likely probably going to happen, and I'm just like, I I don't see this ending well.
no, and the funny thing is, woe to the critic that gives it a bad review because they're going to be sexist and women hating.
Yep,
Because,
and misogynist.
yep, exactly.
So even the how can I say this? Even the crowd crowd supported definition of Gamergate on Wikipedia is clearly being monitored and changed anytime somebody makes any uploads to the site. So
Of course.
it has gone from an original start date of well before August 2014 to now being only around 2014, around the Zoe Quinn controversy, when it had been happening well before that for all the retardedness that comes from the Anita Sarkeesian video, which was well before August 2014.
I could even argue the entire thing started with the Kane and Lynch 2 review with GameSpot.
Yes, Gerstmann Gate, basically.
Yeah, that's the one. Like, what was that, 7, 8 years ago?
Yeah.
I mean, that's you could argue that's when the whole thing started, but it wasn't given the name of Gamergate until August 18th, I believe,
Yeah.
by Adam Baldwin. But the whole thing is, speaking of Wikipedia, we have chat logs and we have evidence and everything else that there were actually people colluding on the back end of Wikipedia to specifically push a particular narrative. And there were people that were removed from editing Wikipedia because they were, colluding with some people on the outside, and it was all proven. I mean, we have all of this archived. You can go and find it all. It's legitimate. It's not made up.
So what they have for I guess one of the clear issues I have is the second sentence describing and it's not Gamergate as a definition, by the way. It's the Gamergate controversy.
Right.
But it says Gamergate supporters are largely anonymous, having no official leaders or spokespeople and no single united manifesto, which I think it was always a united manifesto, and it was about the press is lying. But anyway, statements coming out of Gamergate have been inconsistent and contradictory. I don't know what that is, making it difficult for commentators to identify any set goals and motives. As a result of this, Gamergate has been defined by the harassment its supporters have committed. Gamergate supporters have attempted to publicly disassociate themselves from misogyny and harassment. Such attempts have often been dismissed as insecure and being the purpose for improving the group's public image. Right.
I'm going to guess there's very little citation for any of that.
No, there's none for that.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Awesome. Awesome.
Oh, God.
Citation doesn't start until they go into history and talk about Zoe Quinn.
Of course.
And of course the sightings are of things that come from her page and other things like that. And Aja Romano, Keith Stewart from The Guardian, and Phil Savage from PC Gamer. These are sources, apparently.
Yeah.
Okay. So Shadow,
Right.
Let me get your thoughts on something, Shadow. So I think you'll be first in line to watch that movie when it come out.
No. If as an Apple fan I won't even watch a Steve Jobs movie because I know how wrong it's going to be, I'm definitely not going to watch something like this. So, and yeah.
I think I'd sooner gouge my eyes out.
Yeah, this is. But I believe one of us at Gamers Alert, somebody has played the Depression Quest though, right?
Yeah, I did. Unfortunately.
Oh God.
And Andre. and
It was that bad, huh?
Yeah, let me tell you something. I went through 2 years of actually dealing with depression, and that game was insulting. I mean, it was literally just like first world problem simulator. That's what it was, and it was insulting and ridiculous.
I, I guess what's hilarious is I want to show this to people. I'm gonna go ahead and I I hate to turn this into one of those kind of podcasts, but I'm a screen share real quick. I want you guys to see this. So if you look on my screen right now,
Oh God.
yeah, so that's Brianna Wu, right?
Yep.
And the caption says that she suffered Gamergate related harassment from late 2014 to 2015. Yet they show this clear picture of her right here wearing, I guess, this new attire and a brand new bike.
Yeah, that she got off of Patreon dollars when she was getting 13 grand a month from Patreon.
That's just
I
wonderful.
thought she said she was in fear for her life because she had people giving out her address and
She
talking about
wasn't.
what they were gonna do to her.
Never, not for.
Doesn't
not
look
for
like it there.
I
I
can,
mean,
that's,
like she happy to me.
she looks absolutely miserable. What are you guys talking about? That's why she's wearing shades. See those tears, her eyes are all red and puffy right now. Can't you
Yes.
tell? God,
Yes.
attention to detail, people. Come on.
Yes, Gamergate ran her out of her house, even though that every interview she ever gave when she was on the run was taken in her own house, based on photos that she provided for articles previously. So yes, she was terrified for her life, and Gamergate ran her into her computer room. That's what we did.
Yeah.
You know what I have to say about these ladies? You have to give them props. They
Recognize.
have George Bush testicular fortitude. They will do the most blatant things and turn around and be like, oh, I never did that. Like
Well, I'm gonna say it like
that's
this.
where aneurysms come from.
I'm gonna say it like this, man. Tupac said the best: game recognized game, and they just run the game on people right now.
Pretty much.
They just run the game on people.
I'm
They
sorry.
are running the game.
You gotta excuse me. I'm kind of this kind of blows my mind a little bit, but okay. Brianna Wu and her giant space cat co-founder Amanda Warner. So you'll see that here, and that's just a lovely picture because she's so innocent and sweet, and they're in their attic making this game. So it blows my mind because Giant Space Cat is a wonderful studio that is brought forth such lovely titles as Revolution 60, and that is all. An iOS game.
With QuickTime events. It's pretty much solely QuickTime events and terrible writing.
Yeah. Other than that, the only thing that has happened since then is rape and death threats are terrorizing female gamers, and that was an article she wrote for the Washington Post. And yeah, why are you writing for the Washington Post? Which is odd to me. And she decided to write, I guess, her own article. I'm Brianna Wu, and I'm risking my life standing up to Gamergate. Okay, here's the thing. If you don't want your life risked by Gamergate and whoever is associated with it, the only thing you have to do is say, hey, gaming press is bullshit and shouldn't be defending these people. I think all the death threats would go away then at that point.
Yeah, pretty much.
If you have any, because a lot of these are made up by themselves.
Yeah, the beauty of the media.
And the thing is, if you I could talk all day about this shit, but if you actually go and you Google this stuff and avoid Wikipedia and look for archive stuff and talk to people in Gamergate and dig deep into forums and other Gamergate groups, you will find so much information that just blows these people out of the water, and people can't be bothered to even look for that stuff.
I'm not even. Right now, I'm just looking at Wikipedia itself and going to the different entries, and it still smells rotten.
Yeah.
But no, I'm gonna leave that alone.
So her game was called as a mix between Heavy Rain and Mass Effect.
Oh, dear God.
What? Wait. Which game?
Her game called Revolution 60.
I'm sorry, what? Mass Effect in Heavy
Yeah.
Rain.
So real quick, let me show you what Revolution 60 looks like.
No, did you say Mass Effect in Heavy Rain? That don't even match.
Yeah. So really quick, here's a quick screenshot of Revolution 60. The clear. This is the clear representative of this Game of Year contender right here, mixed between Mass Effect and well, I
Um,
forgot the other name of the game, but clearly that isn't Mass Effect.
and clearly that's not Heavy Rain.
Yeah, it's not Heavy Rain either. It's not. As a matter
That
of
looks
fact,
like
I
a
don't remember.
PlayStation game. Maybe late generation PlayStation 1, early
Anybody
generation PlayStation 2.
remember any part of Heavy Rain or Mass Effect showing life bars? Or,
No.
Yeah, no.
Heavy
um,
Rain is more like a visual novel ish.
I'm sorry, but even
Mass Effect's an RPG.
even the lowest of indie developers can create games with more than one texture layer. I mean, this looks really bad.
Okay, that's okay. Yeah, yeah. Sorry for the laughter, but when you said that whole Mass Effect and Heavy Rain, I'm like, ain't no way. So
Yeah,
Okay, let's just change topics because I'm about to have an aneurysm.
yeah,
yeah,
it's all bad.
Oh god, these
yeah.
women are
That
something
kind of
else.
yeah.
I hate that it's mostly women because then it makes us look like chauvinistic, misogynist, blah blah blah. I'm like, no, these guys are just
No,
criminals,
no, this is just
straight up
common sense.
criminals.
If I showed this, if I showed this work of art to to
Look,
any girl and say, "Hey, is this a killer app game that you would love to play?" I'm pretty sure they would agree with what I would say.
Or they stone cold stun you for trying them like that.
And what's conveniently ignored is, all the women on our side that have been legitimately harassed,
Yeah.
over and over and over again.
see,
And
that's what bugs me out. These women that cry wolf when there's people who generally have issues that are being ignored for these harlots that are pretending like they are victims.
Here's the other thing. It received mixed to positive reviews for its story and gameplay and won the 2014 iOS Action Game of the Year from iMore. iMore is a major publication for iOS and Apple software.
Mhm.
So clearly these chicks know somebody. Because they're not gonna review if they give a game iOS game game of the year or action game of the year, it's probably gonna be something that actually uses Unreal Engine well, something like the three Infinity Blade games.
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily just graphics. Just the game itself actually works well for the platform,
Mhm.
isn't broken, and is actually fun. But
Let me tell you a funny story about Brianna's support for her game. There was one point where she reached out, in her credit, she reached out to Brad Wardell, who is the CEO of Stardock Games. He's produced a lot of top quality stuff, and he's also happens to be. I haven't heard from him in a while, but he was a prominent Gamergate supporter for a while. But she honestly wanted his input and wanted his insight into the gaming industry and everything else. And she actually sat down and met with him and was like, "Oh wow, he's not a horrible person." Suddenly, everyone was on her side, or a ton of people were on her side. Were just like, "Wow, she's a horrible person. Can we stop supporting her shitty game now?" You know.
wow.
And those are people that were on her side, saying her game is shitty. Can we pretend to stop liking it, or can we stop pretending to like it? Should I say?
That's messed up.
And this was shortly before that she also harassed herself on her Steam profile or the Steam page for Revolution 60 when she forgot to log out of her developer account and posted a comment leaving a harassing message under her developer account, directed at her developer account.
Like I said, George Bush testicular fortitude.
I'm
Oh
just
wow.
wondering if this girl knows anybody named Renee Ritchie or Serenity Caldwell, considering that they have major pull as far as what's reviewed on that site, let alone getting awarded.
Probably.
Um, so yeah, that's kind of iffy, and that's sad because I kind of look I kind of look up to that publication in particular for not being that way. But yeah. So as we go, and this is all stuff that by the way, I'm reading this as we go. A lot of this stuff I have never seen before, but just me reading it now, um, I can't help but say that something is rotten in Denmark.
Well, I'm gonna put it to you like this because, like Shep said, this is gonna give me an aneurysm. We got to get to some positivity. So, look, people, I'm just gonna say, like, I'm gonna say this is the last thing I'm gonna say about the whole Zoe Quinn movie deal with Sony Pictures. Sony Pictures, please don't do this. Y'all gonna get paid off the whole Marvel
Yeah,
Spider-Man
you're
thing.
about to get money. Just calm down.
You ain't
Come
gotta
on,
do
don't do
this.
this.
Yeah, you don't have
Please
to do
don't.
this. Please
Don't.
don't. Just don't.
Don't, please.
Yeah.
I
It ain't
I
worth
don't
it.
know.
Don't do it.
Three Steve Jobs movies were made, so I don't know.
Yeah,
Much to the
I know
chagrin of
they're gonna
a lot
do
of
it because
fans.
they're probably gonna do it for publicity purposes. But just bear in mind that it's gonna be slanted, and it's not gonna be what you think it's gonna be. That being said, some positive video game movie news came out. We finally got a trailer for Warcraft.
Yay!
Yes.
Lord of the Rings, go. I mean, Warcraft.
Now, I'm gonna say that trailer looked awesome, dude.
Yeah.
They did a good job on that, on the visual aspect of it. So once again, Mr. Butterworth, take it away.
All right. Well, I played World of Warcraft off and on since 2005. And I think I spent a good 6 years at one point playing constantly. I even played it for a few months this year, pretty heavily. But um, what I loved about that trailer is there are so many call-outs to the game. It's crazy.
The original.
There's one screenshot that people pulled out of like the orc standing in front of what looks like Westfall, and like you just look at the image, and the more you sit there and look, the more you see because you can see things that are pulled right from the game. Like there are directional signs that look like they're right from World of Warcraft. There was a freaking harvest golem, which looks like it's ripped right from the game, and it's something you wouldn't expect to see in the movie. The giant dire wolves of the orc sprite, those are in there. They look great. The orcs look fantastic. I mean, I'm just really, really impressed with everything in that trailer.
Yeah, I'm because I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit skeptical about that movie because I was like, how in the world are they gonna do this? It's gonna be a kind of a hard wait till June.
Yeah, there is so much lore in the Warcraft universe. I mean, they could make a lot of movies, and if they stay true to lore, they can make some damn good movies with it.
You could literally make like 8 movies plus with
Probably.
2 hours a pop.
Hey, I
And
need
it
my
will
Lord of the
all be
Rings.
awesome if they're done right. If they're done right, that's the problem.
Yeah,
But so far, it looks promising.
looks very promising. Very promising. Like I said, I need my Lord of the Rings fix. So guess where I'm gonna get it from?
You're gonna get it from Draenor. That's where you're gonna get it from.
Pretty much.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Was that all I saw in the? Please tell me that was him.
You talking about at the end?
Um, not it's like towards the. I need to look at the video. Forget it. We'll talk offline about it. I gotta look at the video again.
Okay.
Did you say ball as in?
No, THRALL.
I was about to say wrong game. That would be.
Oh, Thrall. No. So I don't think Thrall would be in the movie because Thrall came a bit later after all of the movie events.
Okay.
Okay, I gotta get back. I played World of Warcraft back in the day for a short time. I actually like it. I actually read a lot of fan fiction for it. That's my evil thing.
Were you
Fan
playing
fictions.
during Wrath of the Lich King?
No.
Okay,
No.
because they had a dungeon that was technically a travel back in time dungeon, and you would play through the events of actually freeing Thrall from capture. And it was I mean it's still in there. You can still go and play it.
I was trying to say.
Yeah, and it was it gave you a lot of information. There was another one that was of Arthas burning Stratholme, and you were with him as he was burning it to the ground.
Wow.
Uh, yeah, they've had a few throwback dungeons and even a couple of throwback raids, I believe. And they're really interesting to play because it's like these time traveling dragonkin are trying to interrupt the past, and you're there to stop them. So you're part of the events that are going on with normal, but you're also trying to stop these dragonkin, which are trying to interfere.
Oh my god.
It's worth it to pick up and play for a few months if you don't have anything on your schedule.
Yeah.
Because you're probably not going to get addicted to it. Because right now the numbers for the subscriptions for World of Warcraft are so bad. They're like the worst they've been since the game's inception.
And guess where they're going, which is kind of surprising.
Where
They're going to
Let's
Star
say-
Wars and the Elder Scrolls.
that is surprising, actually.
That is
But
interesting.
they've redone both games to make sure that they're like a lot more user friendly, to the point where there's big colors showing you where you need to go and that kind of stuff. So I guess it's working. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, before we wrap, I will say this: the people complaining about the whole he can't change swords and ride them out. Shut up. Shut up. It's a
Some
movie.
people, I'll say, you need to chill out sometimes. You can't do everything exactly the same way.
Purist.
Yeah.
Freaking nerds, I swear. I'm guilty of it too, I won't lie, but come on.
I'm like, it's one sequence. Jeez. The freaking it's a griffin, okay?
Right.
This damn griffin. Where else he gonna go? How else he gonna get on him? He on the run. That being said, yeah, I'm actually looking forward to it. It looked great. I did like how they tried to sneak in that 300 Rise of Empire music in there. I thought that was kind of funny that they tried to sneak that in there. But yeah, that is looking great. And I did hear that it was supposed it came out this December, but they didn't want to. It was going to come out the same day as Star Wars, and they was just like, screw that. So
Smart call.
yeah, they pushed it back to June because you're not going up against Batman vs Superman. You're not going up against Captain America, and you're not going up against X-Men, and you're not going. I forgot what the other one that's coming out in like May is. So that's why they pushed it back to June, basically. Because their other
Deadpool's
option
coming.
was just like either that or put it up against like Deadpool in February, and I don't think they want to do it February because everybody knows January and February are horrible for movies. Like you don't make hardly any money, basically. So that's why it got pushed all the way to June. At least that's what I'm hearing. Okay, looks like we got some questions. All right, let's see.
Xenoblade questions, please.
Actually, we don't have any Xenoblade questions.
Wow.
We do have. Let's see. Anderson Arkilla asks, anyone freaked out how deep social justice has spread, including into the sciences? No,
Oh god.
I'm not.
Oh my god. The last couple of years have been a nightmare almost.
We are starting to see a lot of pushback though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not surprised how bad it's gotten simply because people don't read no more.
So what was that video? Oh, I think when you guys showed me the video of the Indian girl that was talking about how there's a lot less women in this certain science field, and she completely had no idea what she was talking about and had no evidence to support anything that she was. Oh my god!
Just like there was an article within a last couple days of someone writing about Fallout 4, and they're saying for the first time within the Fallout series you can make your own female playable character. It's like,
No, it's not.
you know anything
Like,
about
what?
Yeah, that's what they
Even
said.
I know that, and I never played Fallout.
Every single Fallout game has allowed you to play as a female character.
Let's take it all the way back. How about ever since I first started playing RPG, daggone Tales of the Sword Coast and all that other kind of stuff, my main character has always been female.
Yeah,
And she was brutal.
Oh boy.
I typically prefer to play as female characters just because the aesthetics are a hell of a lot better. Because typically when you have men like doing the artistic
The
stuff for that,
blockheads.
yeah, they're
They're
gonna
slow.
trying to just make it look better. But I mean, it's it is getting it's getting bad, but there also is a lot of pushback for it. Like I had to one page I've liked for years on Facebook I had to leave the other day, which is I fucking love science. Because they start kind of going off in the social justice route for a while, and then they posted an article which is like, why are men evolutionary are necessary as in an evolutionary
No,
respect?
Jimmy, say it ain't so.
It's so it is so
In a
like
science?
on the
Ah,
science page. That was
Wow.
it's
Okay.
like I'm
no,
done with this
no,
page.
no. I haven't been there in over
Yeah.
half a year because I've been focused on motivational shit. But oh
Yeah.
no, no, fail.
And
Oh
I
god.
don't know if you guys caught it. There was a video that came out this week of apparently a student at Yale, of all places, yelling at a new professor who didn't find an issue with uh, Halloween costumes that were considered stereotypes. And this student was yelling at the professor, saying, "This should be a safe space for us. This is our home. This shouldn't be a place of intellectual questioning or something like that." At Yale.
Wow.
Wow.
Baldur's Gate.
Forgotten
Yeah.
realm.
So
Forgotten realm.
1998. This is 1998, and you can start this game. Female character, straight up, pick all your stats, and she can be stronger, physically stronger, and have better dexterity, better magic, all that kind of stuff than
Hmm.
any other male character in the game. To include the ending boss fight it just seems more epic with the female shouting and screaming at the end boss. So it's just a lot better that way. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, 1998. Matter of fact, and that's the date of the port, because this is the Mac version. So the PC version I think was a year before this.
Oh, gotcha.
So yeah,
Yep. But, I mean, it's a lot of ignorance, and the press just helps with that ignorance. Another fine example from this year was, all the press outlets, and there were a lot of them, like probably a dozen, if not 2 dozen. They were like 2015 was a banner year for women in gaming, as opposed to that abysmal 2014. When you actually look at the facts, there were more featured games in 2014 that featured females than 2015.
Yep. But some of them don't. Some of them don't count because they were misogynistic. So
Ugh.
Bayonetta.
yeah. Let's give people attaboys for adding females to game. I'm sorry, Nintendo. Was that 1987? I think it was that we saw Samus for the first time. I don't. Yeah.
Did you know
86,
that was a
87.
man?
Yeah.
One of the most badass female characters of all times.
Exactly.
Created.
Yep.
The first lady.
Yep.
Badassery in gaming.
What is she like? 6'2", 6'3"?
Actually, she's supposed to be like 6.
No, she's 6'7", I think.
Yeah, because she's modeled after Ripley from Aliens.
Ah, she's
Yeah.
really that tall? Is she really
Yeah.
6 feet tall?
I don't think Sigourney's that
Since-
tall, but that's what when they were doing the game for
character.
Metroid.
Okay.
That's where they got her from. That's why they Gunpei Yoko and Miyamoto always wanted Samus to be a woman because they went and watched Aliens. That's what the whole
Yeah, it's supposed to be like aliens. Yeah.
yeah. So looks like we do got a Xenoblade question for you, man.
Thanks. That's awesome.
This
what we're
comes
waiting
from Nova Region. Do you think any toy company would go after the Xenoblade license and release transformable scale model kit figures? I'm guessing he's thinking like the old Gundam
Yeah.
things. Nintendo did say they would exploit their IPs further, crossing fingers for domestic toys to be released. If not, I'm just going to go to Play Asia.
Yeah,
Well,
pretty much.
there still exist Xenogears toys, so
Yeah.
I don't see why they wouldn't. Somewhere in Japan would do it.
I need to re-release of Xenogears. I love that game. Sorry.
It might be the game that we're about to get. You never know until the end.
Oh yeah, because God knows they don't tell nobody nothing. Let's see. I think we're all getting Rodea the Sky Soldier.
I'm getting it for sure.
Yeah,
I'm getting it for sure.
Anybody else getting it?
No comment.
Oh,
Apparently Jamie wants to get it, but he's not going to.
I have a limited budget for games for the end of the year, so I'm only getting 2 more games this year. One comes out Tuesday, and the other one comes out at the beginning of December. I might ask for some for Christmas, but
I have the same problem. I have that same problem with Halo. I have the same problem with mini games at this point. So I don't even have Mario Maker yet. Huh?
yeah, I don't have it either.
Yeah.
Kids?
So.
I'm gonna tell you right now, kids, being an adult sucks.
Paying bills. Oh my God, responsibility.
It's
Enjoy
great for
it.
you.
Seriously.
One Christmas morning you get it, but guess what? Your dad wants to play it too, and he has to wait even
You
after
have
you
to
already
wait because
bought it.
you. hmm
And guess who's gonna get in trouble? So pops can play it.
Exactly.
All right, let's see. This one comes from what Juanito Snow. I think the Warcraft movie will be a loose adaptation of Orcs versus Humans 1 and 2, but purists, I'm sure, will be disappointed by the final outcome. Jamie, what you think?
Well, to be honest, I didn't play the first 3 Warcrafts because
Blasphemy.
I don't like RTSs, but I know the lore just because I played so much World of Warcraft.
Okay.
As long as they loosely adhere to the story and kind of keep the lore in mind, they don't. It doesn't have to be verbatim. You're never going to see a story translated verbatim to a movie just because it's not how movies work. What works for one audience isn't going to work for another one.
But you missed all of Thrall's visions. He has visions.
Well, we're not getting up to Thrall yet, so we'll get there.
No, I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm impatient for Thrall to be in there, but that's just he's one of my favorite characters. So don't mind me. Continue.
Yeah. There you have it. Because I haven't played those like Jamie, so I don't know if it is. If it is a loose adaptation, as long as they stay, true to the source material, it should be fine. It should be just fine.
Alright, well, Rashidi, since Thrall is your favorite character, I have a video for you to watch. I'm going to pull it up on YouTube now.
Send it in Google Plus because I'm doing it from my phone. So
okay, I gotta rewatch it myself just to kind of make sure it's the right one. I think it is, but it's amazing.
Last question of the night comes from Anderson Arkilla. Is Gunstar Heroes 3D and both Sin and Punishment games recommended? Also, what's Treasure up to these days? I have no idea what Treasure's up to these days.
Did you say that Treasure developed games are recommended? Like that was a serious question?
Dude, it's a question.
This is how that shouldn't be a serious question. Go back and get Wario World so you can body slam people on the GameCube. Get Ikaruga. Like they don't make anything bad.
Yeah. And I personally enjoy games by Treasure. So I would highly recommend them. The only other thing though, I have no idea what Treasure's been up to these days. The last couple games I heard that they have made were for the DS and 3DS over in Japan. There were a couple of anime related games that they made. That's the last thing I heard that team was making. But other than that, I have no idea what they've been up to. Of course, those games don't get released over here.
The real question is, what is Brownie Brown up to these days? I'm slowly starting to think they've been absorbed into Monolith proper.
Probably. Because if you haven't heard from them, that's probably what happened. Because usually they'll tell you if a team's been disbanded.
Yeah, because they still exist as a company, but I don't think they've done anything with the exception of I think they did one of the Mario Tennis games after Camelot stopped making them.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, they haven't done any RPG type stuff that they were supposedly supposed to be known for. So instead, we just got like a makeshift team from the ex-producers of Final Fantasy to come over and do Xenoblade, Pretend Kaitos, and what's the other one? Bravely Default.
Bravely Default, yeah.
Yeah. So nothing with their credit has shown up in quite a while.
Yeah, so I don't. It's hard to say with a lot of those teams because I keep remembering like Clover Studio, like when they stopped being Clover and went to Platinum, you never heard of them disbanded. They just formed Platinum.
Okay,
so people were still there.
Here we go. So this is what happened. They changed their name.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
What's in your name?
In 2013, they changed their name to One Up Studio.
One Up.
Mm-hmm. They did a change in internal structure, and they changed the name to One Up Studio. So I think at this point they're wholly owned by Nintendo.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, because at one point they were partially owned. Like Nintendo basically funded everything that they did, but they were still their own thing. And I think now that they own them wholly, but they're not part of EAD or anything.
I think they get Nintendo just needs to acquire some of these studios though.
Yeah.
Not this one in particular. I'm just saying in general, like Platinum, etc.
Yeah. So the last thing they worked on, here, apparently is Triforce Heroes, but it was only in like cooperation. Um, there's nothing that they've done. The last thing that they've done themselves was the port of Blue Dragon to the DS and Magical Star Sign.
Oh, okay.
I don't see anything.
Wait, hold on. Blue Dragon was ported to the DS.
Yeah, there's a DS version.
Blue Dragon Plus.
Yeah.
All right, I am going on Amazon right now. You guys continue.
Yeah, that came out. When did that came out? Like what, 2008 or 9?
Because I played it on my brother's 360, and that I actually enjoyed that game a lot.
Dude, Kira Toriyama, love that guy.
I'm waiting for the Dragon Quest VIII port to 3DS that we'll probably never get here in the States.
I know, right? That's some BS.
The reason why I stress Brownie Brown is one of the critical things that they had credit for developing, even though it wasn't their IP, was Earthbound. They made the Mother 3.
That was the team that
for the
made
Game Boy
Mother 3?
Advance. Yeah, with basically Hal was overseeing it, but they made the entire game.
Did not know that.
So any good things that you're hearing in Japan about that game is because of them.
Yeah,
so if there's going to be another Earthbound,
oh yeah,
It's gonna be them.
Yeah, it's going to be them.
I can dig it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, well, that does it for the questions. So we're gonna go on a wrap up for tonight. I'm glad you guys could join us on our movies and video games and us getting some stuff off our chest about Gamergate.
Yes.
So
we could have a 5-hour conversation on that mess.
I always have stuff on my chest about that.
Yes, because there's a lot to say. So we'll start with our sign-offs and let everybody know what you got coming up. Shadow Fox.
Hey, thanks for letting me on the cast, guys. Sorry I was late, but yeah, it was great to talk about the wonderful things such as misogyny in the World of Warcraft universe, I guess. So nothing going on my channel because I'm waiting for a certain time period to be able to do some things and come up with some research for some stuff that I want to put up. However, it is in everyone's best interest to go to Game Explain's YouTube page and watch the last 20 minutes of Xenoblade footage that they have. Xenoblade Chronicles X is clearly a AAA game, and it is probably going to be the best RPG this generation. I'm that serious at this point. You're talking close to 400 hours worth of gameplay here. You can, from the point when I saw the footage of you can jump into a scale and fly out of the city instead of walking out of it and go anywhere you want to in the world with no load times. Yeah, Grand Theft Auto has its act to follow at this point. But yeah, that's masterfully designed. However they did it, I would imagine whatever miracles they achieved on the Wii, they managed to do on the Wii U, and it's just lovely. It's beautiful. So find that footage, watch it. It's amazing. Other than that, do you play games to have fun or to impress Hillary Clinton?
All right.
I gotta keep you on your toes.
Yeah. All right, Shep.
Got a couple projects in the work. I'm not gonna make any further announcements for now, but I am working on some stuff behind the scenes. It should be interesting. Live topics, game stuff. Hopefully you all enjoyed. Thanks for listening on our chat tonight, peoples. The Good Shepherd is out.
All right, and Mr. Butterworth.
Alright guys, it was nice chatting with you all. I don't know what or when I'm going to have anything up on my channel. But I'll probably submit it there eventually. I don't know. Stay subscribed. Appreciate it. Thanks.
All right. All right, peeps. This is your boy Jay. I have a couple things coming next week. I have a first impressions vid that I did with Liger of Induo for Tales of Zestria. That's going to be up on Tuesday, and I have some gameplay footage of something that I'm gonna have up on the gameplay channel this week. So just stay tuned and look out for that. And I will see you guys on the next podcast. Peace out.
Peace
Buttercats and Shadowcats are the best ever.
all day.
Epic.